Hi there, how are you? So, the last chapter I read was How Are You? And within that chapter, I also read in Who Cares a number of ways to avoid caregivers burnout, making yourself feel better and improving your well-being. So, let me just read this part to you. So, what can you do to avoid carers burnout? Awareness is key. Carers can become so absorbed in their role that they forget to notice how they are feeling both emotionally and physically. Have you even asked yourself lately, how are you feeling? Just asking yourself this simple question can help you to gain clarity on how you are actually doing. Have you laughed this week or even enjoyed any of today? How is your physical health? You could give yourself a body scan from top to toe. Is the tightness in your back? Carers often suffer from bad backs due to holding tension in their shoulders and or handling their loved ones. If this is you, have you checked out some simple techniques to support your back? And you can look on YouTube, etc., to have a look, or maybe go to your local osteopath or chiropractor, have a bit of a check out, make sure that your back's okay. I remember busting my back while I was caring for Neil, moving and handling him, and the stress and the pressure, and it just snapped. Oh my word, trying to care for him, getting him out of bed and being hoisted every day on top of dealing with that back was absolutely shocking. So prevention is the best key, as I found, which I actually unfortunately discovered the hard way. So a good way to keep your track of your health and how you are feeling is to maintain a journal. I don't know if you do this, but journaling's great, and another carer suggested this to me. I started to write one. As I said, another carer suggested it. She discovered journaling was a great help. By writing down your inner thoughts, you can start to look at yourself and check on yourself on a regular basis. You can ask yourself questions such as, what is draining you? And what can you do about it? Some things are out of our control, but there are always ways of coping with these. Also, focus on the good stuff. Has anything been positive today? And what have you been grateful for? Jotting these things down will make you feel better, as you are then taking care of any negative thoughts that are swirling around your head. Get them out onto paper. It can often shed a light on your situation. That is why journaling can be so useful as a tool to help you through the challenging times. As a carer, you are so busy, so don't have to write everything down and all your thoughts every day for this to take effect, unless you find it useful, of course. You could find that journaling every few days or whenever a particular problem arises, it can be good. This can give you a better perspective of what is happening and lead you to making better decisions. And I certainly found this. Also, open up to others. Not always easy, I know. If friends and family inquire how you're doing, are you honest with them? Many of us are good at keeping a stiff upper lip so that we appear that we are coping. We don't want to look like we're a failure, right? And anyway, if we do open up, they may start to ask more questions. So it's better to keep a lid on it. If this is the case, how much longer can you keep going and suppressing your thoughts and emotions before they finally lead to physical or mental problems for yourself? I certainly found this. So I suppressed my thoughts for years and my feelings until I disclosed how I was really feeling during a carer's assessment. Have you ever had one of those? See if you can get one if you haven't. When I opened up, I found myself uncontrollably sobbing in front of a complete stranger. During these moments, I realised how ridiculous I felt. And every now and again, I would burst out into manic laughter. I must have looked crazy. God knows what he must have thought of me. I'm surprised he didn't send for the men in white coats. After the assessment, I headed outside for some fresh air and stood in the car park, holding a soggy bit of tissue from all the tears, and realised how dreadful I'd been feeling for quite some time. These dark emotions had crept up on me, unnoticed. By opening up, even to a stranger, I felt instantly better and resolved to put things in place to improve my mood. like exercising and seeing more of my friends. And even if you can't get out to see friends, giving them a call. Who haven't you spoken to for a while? Just having a bit of a chat with a friend or shaking things up can shake up the energy and make you feel better. If you're having a difficult time caring, could you open up to others? We all need to be there for one another, especially during the difficult times. Be honest with loved ones can be the first step to obtaining more help and support. Who could you speak to? Do you have good friends and family members you could confide in? Do you have a good relationship with your doctor, your GP? Just airing your inner thoughts can help you feel better, and suggestions can arise on improving a situation. I found that some carers I met through local charities often had a better understanding of what I was going through, and they would recommend support that they had received. So maybe sharing and meeting up at carer centres, maybe a local coffee morning, and just sharing with them because they really do know. If you feel awkward opening up to people you know, why not call a local charity or your doctor and speak to them honestly about how you feel, maybe over the phone. Ask if they offer counselling to help release pent-up emotions. And lift your mood. Often we can feel quite in the doldrums, can't we? Kind of isolated and low, just getting on with what we're doing and caring for a loved one. So even though you are caring, don't accept consistent feelings of stress and sadness to be as normal. We can become so used to these feelings of anxiousness that it becomes the normal way of being. Even whilst caring, you still deserve peace and happiness. Is there anything you could do right now to help you feel better? Why not watch a comedy or chat to a good friend to alleviate negative feelings? Take a bubble bath or listen to good music can bring us back on track and make us feel better as well. Exercise. Not everybody's favourite suggestion, and if you're feeling drained and exhausted, the thought of physical exercise will undoubtedly sound appalling. But our bodies need movement, and it can be a great way to relieve unwanted stress. Just walking outside and breathing deeply can help you feel physically and emotionally better. Other gentle ways to exercise include yoga and Tai Chi. I used to go for a run in the park in the morning whilst Neil was still asleep first thing. It did me good getting out into breathing the fresh air, and I would watch the dogs in the park exercising, and this would put a smile on my face because I love doggies. I'd sometimes stop running and just walk outdoors in that space, and being in that outside space helped me deal with the inside space. Also, carers can become so pent up and frustrated with their situation. This can lead to anger and aggression, and it did with me. I was very angry at times and a bit shouty. Exercise can be a good way to create physical release. Try out something like kickboxing, just a suggestion, or a punch bag at a local gym can help. Or else you could try punching a pillow to release tension. I know it sounds daft, but just try it if you're feeling angry and frustrated. Punch that pillow. It's good for the arms and working them out as well, isn't it? Human beings are wired to seek pleasure, and you may not be inspired to exercise. So instead, what's your favourite song to dance to? Why not turn up the volume and dance in the kitchen or your living room? I know this may sound a little bizarre, but sometimes I do this to shake out the stress from the body. Just try it. It can really just relieve the stress and the tension that we hold in our body, which we're just unaware of. We often hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. If you notice tension in your body, try shaking it out with a good piece of music that lifts your mood. Dance like no one's watching. Let's just hope the neighbours aren't looking over the fence. Deep breathing. This is a really powerful one, and deep breathing has really come on leaps and bounds, in society. I see a lot of YouTube clips and things like this on how good it is to actually do some long, deep breathing. Most of us shallow breathe and have poor posture, but deep breathing can release tension. Try lying down or sitting with your back straight. Fill your lungs all the way up from the bottom, starting with your stomach, then your chest, and up to your head. Fill right up and then slowly release the air with long outward breath. Try this for 5 minutes and see how you feel afterwards. Scream. If you're feeling angry or frustrated from caring, let those emotions out with a good scream. I've done it with windows closed, I must admit. I don't think Neil was too pleased with it. And I know of other carers have done it at times. It's a great release of suppressed emotions. I know of the carers who've screamed once in a while, and I certainly have. If you don't want to worry anybody, I suggest you scream into a pillow. And cry. I know a lot of carers, when I've given talks, they suppress their emotions and they've stopped crying. So it's all really pushed in, it's all bottled up. And I remember one carer, when I gave a talk, she said it's the first time in 2 years that she's had a good cry. And I don't want to make anybody cry, but it was clearly bringing up those emotions that were suppressed. It was a good thing to do. A good sob can release negative emotions. Crying is a healthy thing to do, whatever your gender. Many of us hold it all in, but if you're feeling sad, let it out. Crying can release stress and anxiety. Check in with a friend or family member. A good way to take stock of how you're feeling is to chat to somebody you trust on a regular basis. On Sunday evenings, when I was caring, I used to chat with a cup of tea with my good friend and neighbour, Nadia. We were both carers and would ask each other how we were feeling and what our week had been like. We would open up and share our feelings. If either of us had an issue that would arise, the other one would make suggestions so that we would manage them better. Remember, there's only so much that you can do for your loved one. You may not be in control of their health or their thoughts, and you cannot control all outcomes. You can only do your best, and you also need to do what is best for you. So take regular stock with yourself or with a friend, and can be a good way of discovering what you need and how much more support you need to make changes in order to help improve your well-being. I hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, take care.